Like, I know a lot of people probably like, why you don't throw Jada in there? Jada was more slick and witty. He wasn't really a back-to-back puncher. But I will say, a lot of niggas didn't give J Hood his flowers. J Hood had bars, nigga.
He did. Cut was gas.
I'm talking about he was 16. I remember he did that freestyle with Jada. And niggas was like, Jada might have low-key hated it a little bit.
I was on the radio,
right when he,
right?
when he was on the radio, right when he started picking up steam. Jada, nah, don't give him no more. Don't give him no more. He was going crazy.
That was gassing, yeah.
There was that boom, 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 boom. It was that beat.
Nah, yeah. Go if y'all don't know, go look up J Hood. He had the like a 5-minute freestyle.
I was taught to treat packs like footballs and never fumble.
Yeah,
and when the beef cooking, don't talk, just squeeze. Watch out, because some niggas is friends with the D's. They'll get your ass knocked quicker than the door. And it'll be your bitch ass niggas that's picking off the floor, bang you with the 4, and leave you. What he said? Oh my God, he went crazy.
Yeah, Cuz was gassing.
That nigga was gassing.
Cuz was gassing.
Damn, I'm trying to remember them lines. Like every line in that bar was high. You gotta remember, J Hood was one of the first ones that was a teenager spitting like that.
Yeah,
he was 16.
You said he came before Cory, huh?
Yeah, because Cory Gunz was, I think he was 15.
Cory Gunz was a nigga.
Cory Gunz was a joint back then, for sure. He was a joint back then.
Gunz was gas and shit. He was supposed to take off after he did that 6'7". He should have stayed in that lane with Wayne. They could have did more projects like that. Cory really got to showcase his talent on the mainstream.
Because what was that? The song he did on Smack. We used to listen to that shit all the time.
Yeah, the young one.
He went crazy. That was outside on the corner.
He was a young nigga. Yeah.
What? That nigga went crazy.
Yeah, Cory went crazy.
Yeah, Cory don't get his flowers. J Hood don't get his flowers. And while we on the topic of J Hood, let's just run that down. Because I feel the Locks did him dirty. I feel J Hood was so loyal. And if you really think about it, the Locks, they already had their stamp. They was the Locks. Yeah. J Hood was the unofficial 4th member of the Locks, but then he came with the D Block. And J Hood really stamped it because he went and got it tatted. He went and got the chain. He put D Block on his back. Every freestyle, D Block.
He yelled D Block in every freestyle.
Freestyle. He went at 50 in them niggas.
When they killed me, you know, it's crazy because we questioned it when they took him off the mainstream song. Welcome to D Block.
When J Hood did the we go, people wanna know.
Who we are, and that Welcome to D Block song, J Hood had the hardest verse.
He had the best verse, and in the video,
nigga, we waited, nigga.
We sat and waited, like finally.
J Hood verse, niggas was hot.
We like finally, cuz go get his shine, cause we following this nigga. I still remember the first time I ever heard about the nigga. I didn't know who he was. My homie, I believe D-Nice, the producer, D-Nice. D-Nice, he produced Tyga, a lot of songs for Tyga and shit. He went platinum, all type of shit. He came to school. You got this nigga named J Hood. He like 16. That's when I first heard that freestyle, and I've been following him ever since. So we following him, we tracking him, Smack DVD, the Come Up DVD. He on this mixtape, that mixtape.
Because we already had heard the song before they made the video.
Exactly. Yeah. So they dropped the song, we downloaded it, BearShare, LimeWire, Kazaa, Napster, one of them. And we like, damn, Cuss ripped it. And then we seen Jadakiss was making a video. So oh, Cuff and get a shine, finally. Yeah. Nigga, as soon as his verse was coming, they flipped it to another song. I said, oh, Cuff, they hating on the young nigga. What the fuck?
I just said they did Cuff.
They did Cuff filthy.
I don't know what was that about. Like, man, J Hood ain't never recovered from that. He was salty about it.
This where it went bad.
He should have been salty, but he never recovered.
This where it went bad. They had got a deal on Koch. Remember him and Sheik Luch, when Koch was coming and giving everybody deals, Jim Jones and them niggas went over there. He got a deal with Koch, and his album was supposed to drop after Sheik's. Because remember, Sheik dropped the album.
Right.
That album didn't do too good. They got the deal with Koch. J Hood was supposed to drop.
J Hood.
Then Sheik dropped another album.
Yeah, J Hood would have took Sheik's spot. J Hood would have been part of the three. J Hood,
he wouldn't have took his spot, but he would have had more commercial success.
I feel like what I mean is took his spot in our eyes. Like he would have been bigger. Like niggas wouldn't have wanted to hear Sheik. Like Sheik was cool, but he couldn't fuck with the dynamic duo was Styles and Jada. Yeah, so J Hood would have it was Styles and Kiss, but J Hood would have got implemented in that to where you had to, like, you couldn't deny, like, that nigga he'd have better hold his own with them. Like, them niggas are murdered Sheik on the track, but you wasn't murdering J Hood on the track. Like,
no facts. And he was a young nigga.
Yeah, and he was exact. So just imagine where he would have been in 10 years. He was only gonna get better. It was no way. It was no way.
And it's the cold part. Like I said, He was supposed to drop an album. Sheek dropped again. Then Jada dropped that video. They cut his verse. So at every angle, it looked like they don't want the young nigga to shine. Mind you, everybody's begging for his album. Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood. I remember nigga for like 5 years straight. Tales from the Hood dropping. Tales from the Hood dropping. Then he dropped, I think he just dropped it like as a mixtape. He just threw it out there type shit. And he had bangers on that motherfucker. He had hella producers, all type of shit. And this was around the time where Dipset had Jewels. That was their young gunner. Jay-Z had the Young Gunz. He dropped them. So all the young niggas from every crew, 50 had Banks. He dropped Banks. Every crew had a young nigga who could spit. J Hood was their young nigga, but he never dropped. So he did the video where he dragged the D Block chain.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's where it went left. That everybody turned their back on him after that. The fans, because you know you can't say nothing about the Locks. They got the streets.
It wasn't even just that. He started doing too much with the disses. Every track he made, it was just like you could have just moved on from the situation. Learn that you know how a lot of niggas get burnt in the industry. You could have just moved on and kept your shit and kept doing what you're doing. Like niggas would look at you better. Like you was loyal to the Locks. We understand why you moved on. You started dissing them for whatever reasons that you had or you felt was valid, and that fucked him up because all the time he was always like you always thinking about D Block still, and I think that killed him. Like a lot of his music, he was fuck D Block, and niggas looking at you like now, like, well, you started with D Block, so
even if they did you dirty, you're not turning the streets against Jada and Styles and Sheek. Like the Locks is implemented in the streets, like DMX is implemented in the streets.
Facts.
So you could never do that, especially. Nobody really knew you on the mainstream. Unless you followed the mixtapes, you didn't know who J Hood was.
So but niggas looking at it like we only know you because of them anyway, nigga.
Right.
So.
And then rumors of them niggas stealing money from him came out. Like, I believe his house caught on fire, his mom's crib, and the label gave him an advance, but since he was a minor, he had to go through them to get the bread. So when his mom's house caught on fire, he said he went down there to borrow some money, and they're like, what? You didn't get I think it was like $75,000 or something. You didn't get that? We gave it to such and such. He was like, it was only 2 people who had access to it. It was Styles and Sheek or something like that. And I guess they was dipping in the bread, basically saying, well, nigga, we was buying you clothes. The budgets for your videos. We taking you on tour. It's like hidden expenses that you may not have known about. We was taking out of that money instead of just charging you directly like we could have, like a lot of these other managers and business execs be doing. So it was 2 sides to the story. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Only thing I do know, they fucked up by not putting them out. And I think they did even admit that. Like, you know, we didn't know nothing about the business back then. We still was trying to get hot. We still was trying to keep our spots, and we didn't really know how to be execs. We just was niggas from the hood. We had a young nigga that we wanted to put on, but we really didn't know how to handle it. But J Hood would have been a superstar if you asked me.
Yeah, Cud had it. He had everything. J Hood had it all. And they
he had the full package. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, they dropped the ball with that one. He would at least had a platinum album. But like how the same way Banks did the same with 50 and the way 50 pushed niggas, they would have pushed him, J Hood. Because bars and shit was respected back then too.
Right.
So it was a different scene. Real rap was respected. And that was what he was a part of.
And he had a fucking name. And it was at a time where records were selling, no matter who you were. If you dropped from a big label, you were selling, bro. If the Locks put a young nigga out, he's selling, bro.
And J Hood had a distinct voice. You couldn't. Nobody had Cud. Nobody had Cud. Shit, his swag was different. Cud voice was different. He rapped different. He didn't sound like nobody. Cud was distinct. And
yeah, they dropped the ball with that. I hated to see Cud go out like that. Like even Jay Mills.